During the New Year celebrations, Jason suddenly declared that the card game was boring and suggested we play for higher stakes. He slammed his BMW car keys down on the table and asked if we dared to match him. I knew he was just showing off his new car. Everyone was taken aback, quickly saying, "We're just playing for fun, we can't match that," while praising him for being so impressive at such a young age. I hesitated because my hand had 3 kings. Jason was basking in the compliments, ready to shuffle the cards, when I quietly slid my BYD car keys onto the table and said, "I'll match." The room fell silent. Everyone stared at me in disbelief, and Jason's eyes widened in shock. The atmosphere turned tense. The moment we both placed our car keys on the table, any sense of family ties vanished. But I had no regrets. After all, he was the one who put his BMW keys up first. If he could play so ruthlessly with family, I wouldn't care about his feelings anymore. Jason smirked and said, "How much money do you have in your pocket to scare me? This is a BMW we're talking about. You better gather your cash. Don't bring that old BYD to the table." I shot him a cold glare. I hated playing cards with him. What should have been a joyful New Year celebration turned sour because he flaunted his wealth, raising the stakes higher with every bet. Anyone who has played cards knows that those with less money are at the mercy of those with more. While we were betting $1 or $2, he would bet 500. We all urged him not to play so high among family, but he innocently replied, "Is 500 really that much?" He was just bullying us for being poor, knowing we wouldn't dare to match him. He came to the game just to toy with the dignity of us less fortunate relatives. Realizing my BYD couldn't compete with his BMW, I turned to call for Emily. We were about to get married, and she wore the 3 golds I had bought for her. I said, "Put the gold chain and bracelet on T. He table." Emily glanced at me, not even asking what cards I had, and simply removed her chain and bracelet, placing them on the table. In that moment, a phrase popped into my mind: with a wife like this, what more could a man want? I looked at Jason seriously and said, "Is this enough? Are you ready to reveal your cards?" Jason's expression changed. He clenched his teeth, probably not expecting me to defy him. With a hint of mockery, he said, "Little brother, don't blame me for not making it clear. Losing a BMW doesn't matter to me, but if you lose everything, how will your family survive for the next 5 years?" I shook my head and replied, "It's fine. My family has our own way of living. Besides, didn't you and Sarah just say at the dinner table that I'm not bold enough?" Jason's face darkened further. I had never offended him before, but earlier at the dinner table, he had belittled me for not making as much money as he did, looking down on me for being too timid. Unlike him, Ho was already a boss. Halfway through his rant, Dad handed him a cigarette, trying to help him light it, but he didn't even bother to shield himself from the wind. City folks and girls might not understand what that meant, but in the countryside, when an elder lights a cigarette without blocking the wind, it signifies that he doesn't respect us, humiliating my family in front of everyone. Everyone nervously looked at Jason, asking if he was going to reveal his cards. He took a deep breath and suddenly said, "If we're going to play, let's play even bigger. That's what excites me." He abruptly laid his cards on the table, covered them with a plate, and stepped outside. We sat in the room, watching him retrieve a small wooden box from the trunk of his BMW and bring it back inside, placing it on the table. When he opened the box, it was filled with cash. Jason proudly declared, 300,000. "Are you in or out?" Our actions had already caught the attention of the elders. Uncle E, seeing what Jason was doing, panicked and quickly said, "Have you lost your mind? You're using the New Year's advance payment." Jason sat down with a grin, unconcerned, and said, "It's fine, I can afford it. The question is, do you dare to match me?" I immediately understood Jason's scheme. In a game of bluff, there's usually a cap on the bets to prevent them from getting too high. But when Jason started playing, he specifically said there would be no cap, wanting to raise the stakes until I couldn't keep up and lost everything. Sure enough, he arrogantly said to me, "You're not going to back down, are you? If you can't match this, you can't withdraw what you've already put in." Uncle quickly caught on to Jason's strategy and couldn't help but laugh, then returned to playing mahjong with the other elders, not even glancing our way. I clenched my fists, remaining silent because I couldn't possibly come up with 300,000 in cash. Just then, Emily spoke up, "It's okay, we can put our wedding house on the line." In an instant, everyone turned to look at her in disbelief. Uncle, caught off guard, dropped his cigarette and forgot about the mahjong, while Jason stared at us, unable to tell if he was angry or nervous, both of them trembling slightly. The elders stopped playing mahjong and rushed over to us, saying we were playing too high. Dad was furious. He hurried over, punched my shoulder, and exclaimed, "Have you lost your mind? You're going to bankrupt us." As Dad scolded me, he tried to see my cards, but I held them tightly, refusing to show him. Anyone who knows how to play bluff knows you can never reveal your cards to anyone, as their expressions can betray you. I had 3 kings, and only 3 aces could beat me. Jason had started this war, and every seasoned player knows that a hand with 3 kings can either lead to bankruptcy or bloodshed at the table. Emily earnestly said to Jason, "Our wedding house is worth 500,000, we're ting up an extra 200,000. Are you in or out?" Uncle shouted angrily, "Have you both lost your minds?" He quickly leaned over the table, trying to push our chips back, yelling at me, "Don't provoke your brother. He's a big boss who doesn't want to deal with you. Apologize to him quickly if you want him to help you make money in the future." I grabbed Uncle and shouted, "You put that stuff down." Uncle was taken aback by my outburst, trembling in surprise. I gritted my teeth and said, "When he bet 500, none of you said a word. When he was bragging at the dinner table, you let Dad light his cigarette. Today, he put his car keys on the table first and I'm going to match him all the way." Uncle stared at me, dumbfounded, and said, "How dare you speak to your elder like that?" I looked at Jason coldly and said, "You either match this 200,000 and reveal your cards, or you forfeit everything you've already already put in. There's a third option. We can call this whole game off. Take our chips back, but you'll have to apologize to my dad. Everyone in the room fell silent. They had all witnessed Jason using 2 fingers to hold his cigarette while dad lit it for him. But at that moment, no one dared to speak up. I even noticed uncle looking a bit smug. Jason laughed in anger and asked, "Are you really acting so tough in front of family?" I shook my head and replied, "The moment you put your car keys on the table, we stopped being family." Jason was silent for a few seconds before suddenly smirking and saying, "Fine, don't blame me for scaring you. You're the one who wants to match, right?" He suddenly picked up his cards and revealed 2 queens to me. The moment I saw his cards, I felt a wave of relief wash over me, but my expression remained serious. Jason shook his head and said, "Guess if my last card is a 3 of a kind?"